Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Curse of Oak Island, excitement as team locate a piece of gold treasure. This week on The Curse of Oak Island, the guys unearth a real piece of gold treasure, and the borehole drilling at the money pit starts to finally pay off. After a relatively sluggish start to this theory-heavy series, it looks like we're going to get some real action this week. Since the beginning of the season, geologist Terry Matheson, project manager Scott Barlow, and historian Charles Barkhouse have been borehole drilling in the money pit area, hoping to get a hit. Frankly, so far they've had zero success, but it looks like that's about to change. Metal detectorist Gary Drayton has been coming up with some real top-pocket finds, but this week he might have outdone himself. He's only gone and found some gold, actual real gold. Search for the money pit heats up last week. Craig Tester finally returned to the island, and he had a plan to find the money pit. He suggested to Terry and Scott exactly where he thought they should be digging for the elusive money vault, which the guys believe has sunk further into the earth. According to the preview, it would seem Craig might be onto something because they've now found some wood, and it's at a depth deeper than they've been before. This means that there's either a tunnel or other structure down there, possibly a vault. In the preview, we hear Marty Lagina tell Craig that we gotta keep drilling because that could be the money pit. We're 11 episodes into this series, and it finally looks like we're back on the trail of the money pit. The guys will also continue to examine the mysterious serpent mound structure that was recently dated to the 12th or 13th century, which, intriguingly, would put it in the same time period as the Templar Knights. Last week, it was suggested that the mound might be connected to the money pit, and in this week's preview, we hear archaeologist Aaron Taylor, who's been studying the mound, say to Rick Lagina, "We're getting remnants of maybe the money pit." Gary Drayton finds a gold piece. Meanwhile, excitement boils over as Gary's metal detector locates a circular gold object. There are smiles and whoops all around, and the guys appear to rush it off to an expert straight away, who tells them it's high-end, somebody with money. Also this week, the guys will be continuing to excavate and explore the stone roadway that they recently discovered in the swamp area. Last week, the guys were increasingly excited at exploring this new area for hidden treasures, and it could well be this is where Gary found the gold. The wind howled through the trees of Oak Island, carrying with it the whispers of centuries-old secrets. The dense fog clung to the rocky shoreline like ghostly fingers, shrouding the small, infamous island in an air of mystery. This was the place where dreams of treasure had sparked a fever that consumed adventurers, treasure hunters, and historians alike. For over 2 centuries, men had tried and failed to unlock the island's hidden bounty, and many paid with their lives. But today there was a shift in the atmosphere, a crackle of excitement that hinted at the unraveling of a long-kept mystery. The sun struggled to pierce through the thick blanket of clouds as the team gathered near the money pit, the legendary site where countless expeditions had dug and searched for the fabled treasure. Rick and Marty Lagina, who had dedicated years to this quest, stood with their team on the edge of anticipation. They had come close before, fragments of wood, metal artifacts, and tantalizing clues, but today was different. Today, the island itself seemed to be offering up a piece of its enigmatic past. The drill, a hulking piece of machinery, groaned and sputtered as it dug deeper into the earth, piercing layers of sediment and stone. The crew members exchanged nervous glances, their faces etched with a mix of hope and tension. The island had a way of testing its seekers, offering glimpses of fortune only to snatch them away at the last moment. Yet, something about this particular dig felt different, like they were on the verge of something truly remarkable. As the drill hit a new layer, the sound changed, a sudden shift that made everyone freeze. It wasn't the usual grind of earth and stone. It was a dull thud, followed by a slight metallic ring. The hairs on the back of Rick's neck stood up as he leaned closer to the monitor. The screen displayed the drill's progress, and in that instant there was a glimpse of something unusual, something shimmering in the slurry of dirt and water being drawn to the surface. "Stop the drill," Marty barked, his voice tinged with urgency. The machinery fell silent, leaving only the sound of the wind rustling through the trees. Everyone gathered around the small container where the spoils of the drill were collected, their breath held collectively. It was Rick who reached in first, sifting through the muddy water. His fingers touched something solid, smooth yet ancient in its feel. He lifted it slowly from the slurry, wiping away the muck with trembling hands. There it was, small, gleaming, and unmistakably gold. For a heartbeat, no one spoke. They were all transfixed by the object in Rick's hand. It was a fragment of gold, old and worn by time, but still radiating an otherworldly glow. This wasn't just a stray coin or nugget, it was something far more significant. The object was intricately engraved with symbols, markings that seemed to whisper in a forgotten tongue. This was a piece of treasure, possibly part of a larger hoard buried deep within the bowels of the island. Marty's eyes widened as he recognized the unmistakable signs of craftsmanship. "This is ancient," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "Look at those engravings. This could be from a lost civilization, maybe even linked to the Knights Templar." The mention of the Templars sent a jolt through the team. The legend of Oak Island had always been laced with tales of hidden religious artifacts, secret societies, and the Templars' supposed role in concealing treasures of immense power. Could this tiny piece of gold be a breadcrumb and a trail that led all the way back to the Holy Land, to a treasure that transcended mere wealth? The group buzzed with energy as they passed the fragment around, each person examining it with reverence. The atmosphere was electric, a potent mix of exhilaration and dread. They knew this discovery could be a game-changer, a confirmation that the legends weren't just myths. But Oak Island was not known for giving up its secrets easily, and with every answer unearthed came 100 more questions. Later that day, the team convened in the war room, the centerpiece now dominated by the newly discovered gold. It lay under harsh fluorescent lights, sparkling with a quiet defiance, as if daring them to unravel its mystery. Maps, documents, and theories were spread across the table, each one representing a different thread in the tangled web of Oak Island's history. "We need to figure out where this came from," Rick said, his voice steady but laced with determination. "This could be the breakthrough we've been waiting for, but it could also be a trap. The island has a way of luring people in, only to leave them empty-handed or worse." There was a murmur of agreement. Oak Island had a history of heartbreak. The island's many shafts and tunnels were not only riddled with collapse dangers but were also rumored to be cursed. The curse of Oak Island, that no more than 7 must die before the treasure is revealed, hung heavy over the room. 6 had already perished over the years, their dreams swallowed by the island's unforgiving soil. 1 more, and the curse would be fulfilled. It was a thought none of them wanted to voice, but it loomed large in their minds. As they debated their next steps, the island seemed to grow more restless. The wind picked up, rattling the windows and sending shivers down their spines. Rick couldn't shake the feeling that the island was watching, that it was aware of their every move. The discovery of the gold was a monumental step, but it felt like only the beginning of something much larger, much darker. What if the treasure they sought was never meant to be found? What if, buried deep beneath the layers of earth and history, lay not just gold, but a secret that was never meant to be unearthed? Night fell on Oak Island, wrapping it in shadows. The gold piece was locked away, but its presence was like a beacon, drawing attention not only from the team but perhaps from something older.